What's going on, everyone? G-Daigo here. I met M4. I thought I'd try to do something a little different, like maybe do predictions for the knockout stage bracket that's going to be starting here tomorrow, and kind of just like who I suspect is going to win here. Sorry for like the interesting quality. I'm in a hotel room and I'm kind of trying to do what to use what I have to my advantage here. Of course, I'm using my camera that I've been recording a decent amount of content for at the group stages. So, yeah, it's gonna be fun. I can't wait to see the knockout stages. There's a lot of really great teams in this the top bracket, and I mean, without further ado, let's kind of just start it off here. Like these first two games that are going to be on January 7th here. It's absolutely nasty. Like we got Falcon and then Onik. Yo, like come on now. That's probably like one of the hardest matches. And not only that, you got Echo versus THQ. Like come on. Like these first two matches, January 7th, spicy. Spicy to say the least. Now, I think Falcons on an interesting win streak. Taking out Blacklist, going into a tiebreaker in the group stages was just absolutely nutty. So, I mean, I think I have to give it to Falcon just because of that. So I think Falcon moves on. And I think Onik is going to go down to the losers bracket. But I still think Onik's a really, really strong team. But Falcon looked a little bit stronger. Now, moving on to our next match 2, that's on Jan 7. I'm I'm gonna go for it, man. Like I think Echo. There's no doubts about it. In my eyes, Echo is looking amazing. Echo is just phenomenal right now. And I think THQ is going to be going down to face someone in the bottom bracket. We'll get down to the bottom bracket after I finish the top bracket here. After that, we got RRQ versus TDK, and RRQ had a really rough start. I've heard that RRQs in the past always kind of have a rough start, and then during the knockout stages they bring their A games. So from this spot, definitely gonna call an RRQ here, putting our RRQ into that spot. And then TDK moving down to the losers bracket. Let's see. All right. So we got that going there. And then next, again, Blacklist versus RRQ. Akira. Like, yo. This is going to be another spicy match. Just because it's Blacklist. And I think Blacklist can beat RRQ Akira. But one thing I'd love to see is two RRQs go at it. So RRQ has been having a tough time. They really have only beat like S11. So I'm gonna move them. I'm gonna move RRQ here just because I want to see RRQ go against RRQ, and then we'll move Blacklist down to the bottom here. All right, so this next one here, Falcon versus Echo. I think Echo is probably the best team I've seen in the tournament. Probably the best team I've seen in this tournament here. And I just got to give it to them, like they're dominating. They're showing that they're here to play, and I want to see them them succeed. So I'm gonna go ahead and say Echo makes it to this spot. But of course, Photoshop doesn't want to work with me. We got it. I think Echo beats Falcon. I think Falcon ends up going down to the bottom bracket here. Falcon, I think it's moved down to the bottom bracket on to match 16, which puts them pretty decent, to be honest, but because they've lost one. Falcons lost one. So I feel like they had a stride. Echo's looking oiled, man. Like there's nothing stopping Echo right now. Man, I don't think Falcon's even gonna stop them. That could just be the Echo fanboy coming out of me, but I feel like Falcon's good. Blacklist is rusty. They're not the same as they used to be in M3. And I feel like Echo really, really wants this win. Now, coming into a spicy match here, RRQ versus RRQ. An absolutely spicy match. If I had to give it to someone, it'd probably be RRQ, right? No. Let's go ahead and, I feel like both these teams are really strong. Akira was able to pull out some crazy moves. I think they're pretty strong right now. So even though I'm not like a huge fan of Akira, I think I'm gonna give it to RRQ Akira and move them up here. Move them to the top bracket. All right, all of the top. This is what I have so far. This is what I predict. Falcon loses to Echo. Well, let's start at the top. Falcon wins against Onic. Echo wins against THQ. TDK loses to RRQ. Blacklist also loses to RRQ. And then now we're moving into Falcon losing against Echo. And then RRQ winning against RRQ. Haha, hee hee. So Akira winning into this top bracket here. Now, kind of moving on to our bottom bracket here. This is where the semi sauce is like happening, right? Like we're seeing, like S11, RSG, and a lot of these teams, and I gotta say, I feel like in this top bracket, I feel like RSG is gonna win against S11. S11 ended up taking out New Wave. So I kind of already have like a resentment there. So my prediction is RSG is gonna win this one right here, and then take it to this bracket, which would be Onic against RSG. So from this point, I think if we're looking at match 6 here, this one's kind of like a tough one because they're both like mad at me. Like I watched a lot of their games, and I wasn't really impressed. But if I was impressed by one team, I think it'd be INC. So I'm gonna move them up. I think MDH gets knocked out here, and I think it'd be Todak. Or no, Hawk versus INC here. And then now it's Todak. I know the Valley's gonna win here. If they don't, it's gonna be a problem. But I'm North American. They're in the bottom bracket. I think they have something spicy. I think they have Mobazane. They got Whom. They got this, man. They got this. They can crawl their way out of this bottom bracket. I believe in them. I believe in them. So we'll see. I believe they beat Burn with ease. Burn didn't seem like a team that was like, like crazy. So I give it to the Valley there. And then moving on, Malvinas. I think MVG wins this. I'm not gonna lie. I think MVG wins this. Like I feel like Occupied Thrones was not as good as I would see in a lot of other teams that I've seen here. I would say they're just bad. They're just bad. They were getting whopped. There was not much they could do. So yeah, I did forget to pull out the loser of match 14 here. So let me fix that real fast. All right, now we're looking a lot better here in our picks. So moving on, Onic versus RSG. I gotta give it to Onic, man. I gotta give it to Onic here. They're gonna win this. I think they're gonna be kind of like how Blacklist was in M3. They're gonna crawl their way back up. And then I feel like THQ wins this with no problem. Easy. They got pushed into the bottom bracket just because the top bracket's like full of heavy hitters. And then I'm going with the Valley here. Don't make me regret this. I feel like Todak is good. I feel like the Valley's weakness are Malaysians and their wildness. They're not predictable, and I don't think the Valley has anything set up to counter unpredictable moments like that. Next, of course, Blacklist. They're going to be making it here. And then I think it's going to be the reunite of Blacklist versus the Valley here. And this would be a spicy outcome. A spicy outcome right here. Like, this is like M3 all over again. And I hope by this point we're knee deep into some days. The Valley had a day off, and hopefully they trained. They did something that they normally don't do, and that is plan. They plan to put Blacklist down in a fashion that I think is going to blow everybody's mind. So I'm going to go with the Valley. The Valley here. But now, this is my prediction. This is spicy right here. This is spicy. Falcon versus the Valley. Again, don't hate me. This is my predictions. I actually really like Falcon. But they're definitely gonna lose against Echo. Unless there's no unless. Echo's looking way too good. They would have to throw a curveball like no tomorrow. I gotta pull the American out of me, man. I think if the Valley can beat Blacklist, like they're on a roll that they can beat Falcon. And this is what I hope, So moving the Valley over to moving on to the higher end of the lower brackets. And then Onic versus THQ. I'm going with Onic because, again, like I said, I believe Onic's going to crawl their way back up. Again, these are just predictions, kind of what I want to see, what I'm thinking about. I feel like Onik again wins against RRQ with no problem. And then they move on to this match to face the Valley. Now, kind of moving into our other brackets here. We have Echo versus RRQ. And again, I feel like Echo is going to win this with no problem. Moving Echo all the way to the semifinals. And what is this, January 15th? Easy. Echo, no problem winning this. And then moving on from here, again, this is another like spicy match here. Onik versus the Valley. Again, this is just the North American in me that what I want. If the Valley's made it this far, again, I feel like they have the potential that they've switched gears, they've turned things around, and they could blow this out of the water. And this is what I'm hoping. Again, I love the Valley, and I suspect they're gonna win. So, moving on to here. Jeez. Moving on from here. Of course, RRQ Akira lost here. And we're going to be moving RRQ Akira down here to the losers bracket. They're going to go against the Valley. And again, I feel like let's go all the way with North America. And this is the outcome I'd like to see. This is the outcome I'd like to see. And again, I would love the Valley to win, but I think Echo is going to take it all. I think Echo is definitely going to take it all and become the champions of M4. Oh, geez. That's definitely not the button I wanted. I think that's the outcome here. And we'll see if that happens. There's a lot of strong teams in the upper bracket. It's going to be absolute heck in the lower bracket when any of the teams in the topper bracket like lose. It's just going to be monsters falling down. And the Valley is going to have to crawl and fight through trenches of monsters, through just absolute, I think that's all I can say, monsters. Like these teams are here. They're going to fight like they're backed against a wall. And I hope that they make it all the way here. I like Echo. I want the Valley to win, but unless they prove me wrong, again, these are only predictions. So I hope to see the Valley win, but I think Echo is gonna take it all. And you know, the Valley did.
The Valley did.